Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Discover a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
We have some exciting news.
Whee! Was that exciting enough for you?
That was pretty fucking exciting.
I'm really excited.
We're stoked. This has been something that we've been working on for so long, and it probably won't make a huge difference to you, but just know that symbolically, this means a lot to
It
us.
does. We're holding hands right now.
We're not. Don't lie to them. They're
not?
better than that.
Both of our arms are
Literally
really
crossed, and we're on the exact opposite end of the couch, as we always are.
Uh-huh.
So we are taking a leaf out of the book of Shondaland, and we are expanding our multiverse. And by expanding our multiverse, we're taking our 2 shows that we have. We have this show that you're listening to this feed, Don't Blame Me. It's where you come for your Don't Blame Me episodes. We have our another podcast, But Am I Wrong? And
You said our another podcast.
we have our other podcast, But Am I Wrong? And up until now, it has been existing in its own little corner. It's had its own little thing, and we want to streamline it. We want to not have you have to go between feeds. We don't want you to have to like go somewhere else to subscribe. We want to, I mean, this is the beginning of our process of world domination and coming to you 7 days a week.
We're pretty close.
We are, and we this is, it is not an accident. It's a plan.
It's a plan.
It's
We've
a
been
plan.
planning it for years, actually.
We want to be a part of your everyday routine. And we thought a great way to do that is to combine feeds. So all of the episodes of But Am I Wrong are going to be here as well. And I promise it won't be confusing. We're going to be using the But Am I Wrong artwork and the Don't Blame Me artwork. So on Mondays, you will see the cute little Don't Blame Me logo. And you're like, oh no, Don't Blame Me episode. And then you'll get the bonus app of Don't Blame Me, as you always do. And then on Thursday, you're going to get a brand new episode of But Am I Wrong? And Friday, you're going to get Fisting Friday. So you just have to subscribe here, one place. This one feed is going to be pushing out new content 4 days a week.
Mega feed from Meghan and Melisa.
It's like Megamind, but podcast. So nothing changes for you if you are already subscribed here. If you're not, subscribe. Make sure you get those push notifications. I get the push notifications. So at midnight, I'm laying in bed. I'm like, oh, should I go to bed? Should I not go to bed? I'm like, actually, I'm probably not even in bed. And then I go, new episode of Don't Blame Me. And I go, fuck, Megan, go to bed.
Yeah.
It's a great little reminder. And we're very excited. We hope you're excited. You don't have to do anything if you're already subscribed to the But Am I Wrong feed. You don't have to like unsubscribe. You don't have to do anything. It's just going to be all here now. So we're making it easier for all of you.
Yeah.
To be fair, you might not have even noticed, but this is big for us. And so we want you to be excited for us because you need to make Shonda moments out of everyday life events.
She's an icon. She's always the moment. I haven't had any new Shondaland shows in like months, and so I'm deprived, but it's okay. Grace is coming back this week, so I'm really excited. But
What's coming back?
Grace.
Oh, I think
then
it's Grace.
So the show that started it all.
Chop, snip, snip, chop a chop.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Hi. Hi.
Hi. How are you doing? How are you doing?
This is like a sexy, congested
Oh.
Mucinex commercial.
Oh.
Oh, but you're also kind of Australian.
Cool. What is this?
Yeah.
Are you not gonna answer my question? I said, how are you
Oh,
doing?
I'm doing hot.
You're hot.
I hot, so hot.
Your nipple hot.
This one's not, though. Why is that? Hey, go watch the Patreon. And
Nope. Your right nipple isn't reactive.
oh, it's kind of like inverted. You know what I mean? When you put a shirt on and it gets smushed. There you
Mine
go.
Don't do that. My nipples are always pointy, not hard, and like people think they're hard, but they're actually pointy. So mine don't get inverted.
As someone who is constantly having hot flashes, I get what I can only describe as like Renaissance boobs, where they're just like, you know, Renaissance, where it's always like these paintings of these like women with just like, I don't want to say I hate the words, but like very rounded and very soft. And you're like, you just like look like you're in a painting.
The thing is, you said Renaissance, and now my mind for Renaissance goes to Beyonce, which
You're looking at me going,
yeah,
where?
And so
where?
that's why I was hair, maybe. That's the closest you got.
This is the closest I'm ever gonna fucking get.
There's like a round of TikToks going around now where people are like, haha, I told my partner that we're going to Renaissance, and then they end up at the Renaissance fair.
So we're gonna give you some fucking advice, okay? Buckle up, gird your loins, get nice and wet, clean your ear holes, turn down the volume, make sure you're not listening in public if it gets sexual. If anyone asks what you're listening to while you're laughing in your cubicle, spread the wealth. Let them know about the podcast. No one's going to recognize your voice if you called in. Yes, this is a call-in advice podcast. So if you want to call in and leave us a voicemail so we can give you some advice, help you out in your life, leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. Or international listeners, you can send an audio message to meghanpodcast@gmail.com. You have to keep both under 3 minutes. We require, we really do require you to write everything down that you're going to say, practice a couple times, time it out, see that it's under 3 minutes, cross out anything that is extra information, add things in to make sure we can give you the best advice. We need to like know the situation as much as possible and the important shit. So if it's about dating, how long have you been together? How old everybody is in the story? It's all anonymous. You can use fake names. Let us know your pronouns if you would like. And 18 or over, have your parents' permission.
Strictly enforced.
As you can from last week's episode. Legitimately strictly enforced. And yeah, you can watch the video version on Patreon if you want to see our wonderful reactions. Hee hee. Hee hee hee.
How's your Gatorade Zero?
Well, they're not a sponsor of the podcast. I would be so fun. Imagine they sponsor me, who's like, hi, I'm getting really dizzy, and they're like sponsoring athletes who are like, gotta drink the Gatorade to replenish. And then you just have me on my couch, my legs elevated. I gotta drink the Gatorade because the blood pools in my legs and I get real dizzy.
Well,
no, I think it'd be great.
I think so too.
This is the only flavor I can stand.
I'm a Powerade gal though.
The fuck is the difference?
It tastes different.
Well, I might be interested because I don't love the taste of this at all. I can stand this one. The lemon one, I can choke down. I don't love it. Any of the other ones are disgusting to me, but I didn't drink it as a kid, so it's very weird.
The red Powerade, the blue Powerade, it doesn't taste like the Gatorade.
I just can't do red. I don't like red flavor.
Okay. Well, they have one that tastes like exactly like fruit punch.
That's why I don't like.
You don't like fruit punch?
Makes my teeth feel fuzzy.
It feels like you as a ham and cheese Hawaiian roll. Like that feels like it would wash down real well with some fruit punch.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if they brought me to my grandma's house earlier, I could have had a refined palate and enjoyed Hawaiian fruit punch, but no, alas, I didn't have it until I was, I don't know, elementary school age, and by then she was screwed. Gotcha. Didn't like it. Yeah. I liked ginger ale.
Oh, ginger ale's great.
As a child.
I mean, as an adult, like ginger ale, drink good, but then as you get into the ginger beer, which isn't actually beer, it's just stronger actual ginger ale.
Ooh.
But I saw somebody making some on TikTok, as I see the only thing.
I was like, what are you going to say?
And it seems really easy to make. You just boil some ginger and then put some sugar in it and then put some bubble water. Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, I'll probably make some for myself. When? I don't know. But yeah. I just feel like it's going to be better than.
I think root beer is also relatively simple in that
What's in root beer?
a root, but I think it's like a similar thing. But as a kid,
ginger is a root too.
That's what I mean. I think like the ones that are like the OG sodas, like when it's like when there's prunes in Dr. Pepper, it's like, yeah, I don't know how to make that. There's a prune in there, don't know how to make that. As a kid, I also loved on the East Coast, they had this thing called birch beer.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh my God, I fucking loved it. That was like my absolute favorite. Loved it. But I was also big ginger ale, big root beer girl. But ginger ale, delicious. Anyways, let's just get into the episode.
Yeah!
Roll the tape.
Hey, besties. Here's some low-stakes relationship shit for you. I, 21 she, they, have been dating my partner, 21 he, they, for 2 years. We're living in different states while he goes to college and I work around our hometown. We visit each other most weekends, and I've been visiting his college town more often now that school is back in session. And everything's awesome. I'm really happy with him, but he has a twin-sized bed. And he's a smaller individual. I am a fat person, like a mid-sized individual. And we fit on the bed. It's, like, fine. But there's not any wiggle room. And I get hot sometimes, and I don't want to touch him, love him so much. I offered to go halvesies with him on a bigger mattress, but he really doesn't want to. His parents just got him this twin-size bed in the past, year after he moved out of the dorms and into an apartment, and now he's in a house with roommates. My new idea is to go halvesies on another twin mattress, and then we'll put them together. It'll make a king-size bed, get a king-size mattress topper to fill in the gap. So do you have any ideas on the bed situation? What would be a good compromise? Do you think my new idea is a good idea? Love the pod. Love ya. Let me know what you think.
I think you are... I think if you called in without you having this original idea, I don't think I mean, you might have come up with the second twin bed idea, but I definitely would not have. So I think you're far more resourceful than I am in this situation. I would have been like, you're getting a new fucking bed. Mm-hmm. I understand the whole thing of oh, this is new. Why would it works totally fine. Why would I not? Why would I get something else? Why would I spend money on this? But it's not working fine. It literally only works fine when you're not there. Is your partner comfortable? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're both, because sharing a twin bed is not comfy.
I haven't slept. I slept in a twin bed in college, but and it was just my freshman year. But before that, I hadn't slept in one since maybe second grade. And then after that, I haven't slept in one since.
Yeah. I mean, I remember freshman year, I started hooking up with a guy who was a junior who lived in his own apartment. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not sleeping in this fucking bed. And then I think I didn't sleep in my bed much in general. But then when I did sleep in a twin bed of someone of my age, it was so fucking tiny. Yeah. It was you can't.
Yeah. Even after my first semester freshman year, my roommate left. So I just pushed the beds together. So
lucky bitch.
I've never shared a twin bed with anyone, so I guess this is the norm. Even when I was hooking up with people in college, none of the people I was hooking up with were in twin beds.
I'm straight up saying I don't know anybody who is not very, very child size. Mm-hmm. I didn't know anyone tall who was hooking up with anyone. Everybody, it was I'm not hooking up with a freshman because I'm not hooking up in a dorm bed. I don't, the only people I know were very, very, very short people who were yeah, I can hook up. And then they're hooking up with other short people.
Me, short person, still just want to.
No.
But I mean, I guess he likes it when you're not there, but still if you're traveling to see him because you live in different states, and he's not being accommodating to you, then I just think that's wrong.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I get that. You're not, I mean, there's not really advice here. You're just asking, do we think this is a good idea? Yeah, great idea.
I think this is a really good idea. I think if you want to be fucking petty, I would just be if them being this totally works fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'd be okay, I'm going to sleep on the floor. Are you cool with me just sleeping on the floor? Because I'm assuming that some people are those people, the second they get in a 45-degree angle, they're passed out asleep. And they're not same. And I'm assuming you color maybe not like that. So maybe they're not awake to see that this actually is not working for you. So I'd be like, okay, I'm not gonna, like, I can't keep visiting. Like, and also sleep is so fucking important. You're like, I'm losing out on all of this sleep. Like, I'll just sleep on the floor. Like, are they okay with that? I think, like, if they don't want to get a brand new mattress, sure. But I think 2 twin mattresses is a good compromise. But if you have to get a new bed frame, why?
Maybe they're going to put the mattress on the floor.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It might just be cheaper just to get.
If it's going to be a king, mattresses. Well, no, I was going to say, so if you put 2 twins together, that becomes a king.
Yeah.
And so things are more expensive with a king. Like, sheets are more expensive. Like, some of these other things are more expensive. And then when you eventually buy a bed frame, like, not in college, then you're buying a king size bed frame, which is more expensive. Or you can, like, split up and use 2 twin mattresses. So, like, is this going to be a solution for how long, and how much is the cost going to be a solution for that? Because I think right now, if you upgraded to like a queen or a king, that's a lot of costs up front, but you could use it for potentially a lot longer. Versus now, I think it's been going to be cheaper, but then it might be a little bit more expensive later on down the road. And also size wise, it might be hard to find a first apartment that can fit a king size bed.
Maybe this might be another compromise if he's not down for this. When you're visiting, have an air mattress.
Yeah. I just think that, like, if they care about you, they can't know. They have to be, like, literally asleep and not understanding that this is, like, not working out. Because this will, like, literally create a mattress-sized wedge in your relationship.
Yeah.
So I think that you have a great compromise that you've brought up, and, like, a great idea. And I think you both look at the budgets of what you can do now, how much is going to cost you now, and then how much it will cost in the future versus how much it would cost just to upgrade one right now too. So do you have to buy beds in college?
If he's living in an apartment, yeah.
Well, it was like, I think they bought Oh, maybe for some reason I thought it was like they bought a bed. Because dorms, you have to have them.
Yeah, but I thought she said that he was after he moved out of the dorms and into an apartment. So he's in an apartment with housemates now. So he bought a new bed when he moved into the apartment.
Were you dating then?
What?
Were they dating then?
I think so.
Because that...
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah. I'd be like, why'd you buy a twin?
Because his parents bought it.
I know.
And his parents aren't thinking about them banging.
Well, that's what I would say. Is this a keep room for Jesus thing? So then are you going to have to hide the other one when he comes? I mean, when his family comes. Because if that's the case, if it's like the twin was bought, they knew you were together, and it was intentional.
Get the air mattress.
Exactly. And then store it in a closet. Yep. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
All right. Now for the next call.
Woo!
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. Before I get into it, I do just want to give a trigger warning for the discussion of guns in my call. I'm 23 and I use she, her pronouns. The other person in this story is 25 and uses he, him pronouns. We'll call him Steve. Steve and I have been talking since the end of July after a meeting for mutual friends. We hit it off on the first night we met, and as we got to know each other, I saw him show up for me as such a kind and supportive person who also embraced my silly, goofy side. I just felt like I'd known him forever. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago, we were on a camping trip with friends, and he asked me to be his girlfriend. I let him know that that was what I wanted, but that it was also important to me to have a bigger conversation about what we both wanted and needed within the relationship. We went on to have an honest conversation about our respective mental health struggles and communication styles, which to me just confirmed that we were on the same page about our priorities. Steve then said that he had something serious to share with me that I should know about before getting into a relationship with him. He went on to tell me that he owns guns, 3 that are located under his bed in safes, and 5 more that he keeps at his dad's house. He said that he's grown up around guns and that the majority of the ones he owns are for different types of target practice specifically. However, he does have a concealed carry permit and will sometimes carry his pistol while walking or driving his car. He had never carried around me, to be clear. The idea of someone close to me being armed in everyday life feels uncomfortable to me and isn't something I've had any personal exposure to. We, of course, went into a discussion of gun control, and he attested that he's in support of it and has done work to unpack and understand the harmful impacts of the lack of gun reform in the U.S. For context, he identified as a Dem socialist during this conversation as well. My thoughts about his gun ownership became increasingly negative the more I sat with them, so we ended things 2 days ago after having another long discussion about it. My gun schema centers heavily on guns as tools of oppression, where they are linked to white supremacy and nationalism and to conservative ideologies that I seek to speak, act, and vote against. Now I'm questioning if I was too quick to write off this relationship based on that association. I don't know if it's fair to loop his practices in with these greater issues, so long as he continues to check his privilege and advocate for systemic change. I'm torn between wanting to be with Steve, who I really saw a future with, while also wanting to ensure that my actions and decisions align with the issues I care about. Bottom line, is there such a thing as ethical gun ownership? I'm also a Sensi Virgo. I know this is a heavy one, but I also know y'all will tell me what I need to hear. Thank you both.
I think there is such a thing as ethical gun ownership, but I also think that you don't have to want to end up with someone who owns guns. Like, I think those things can exist. Like, I believe that there are people who are ethical gun owners, like, but I also don't want to date someone who has a gun. Like, and those things can both be true.
Yeah, growing up in the South, everybody has a gun. Like, even no matter what party you belong to, everybody has a gun. My grandmothers have guns. Like, they have shotguns and things that were, but I have a problem with military grade guns that people have. I don't have a problem with responsible gun owners that might have them for hunting, that might have them for, they might have them for protection, but they're locked away and they're kept safe. Like, I grew up around guns, and I don't have an issue with people that go to gun ranges that keep them locked up, that don't have automatic rifles. Like, I'm fine with guns. I don't think that, having a gun necessarily makes you a bad person.
No, I agree with all of that. I think, like, I view guns in a very similar way to how I feel about, like, drugs. Like, it's just something that, like, I'm not comfortable being around, and it doesn't make, I don't think you're a bad person. Like, I don't think, like, less of you or anything like that. And it might not even be like there's an exact reason why I can describe why it makes me feel the way that I do. I mean, I think guns are a little bit more easier to describe than, like, drugs when you're not partaking in them. But there are some things that it's just not for me. And it's not even just for me not to participate in. I'm on high alert, and my body's not calming down. Like, my body just knows that I just can't relax. Like, I just can't 100% feel comfortable. And this is just not something that I want to think about. Like, I don't want to think about this in my day-to-day life. And I think that's great that he told you. And the reason why he told you is because it's a valid answer to be like, I don't think any less of you of this, but yeah, that is, I don't want to date someone who has who has guns or is like has permits, ends up carrying them or anything like that. Like, it's just not it. And, like, you don't even have to tie it to, you said your associations with, like, guns being used as oppressive tools and, like, white supremacy and all of that. Yes, but it also, again, doesn't even have to be that. Like, they are literally dangerous weapons. And some people are more comfortable around those than other people. And that doesn't mean everyone needs to be comfortable and everybody needs to, like, embrace it. And it also doesn't mean that nobody needs to be comfortable and nobody needs to embrace it. Like, you're just two different people. And I do think, like, fundamentally, this is compromising your comfort. And I don't think this is right for you. And I do also think that, like, maybe if it was the exact right person, part of me, I'm saying if it was the exact right person for you, he wouldn't own guns and, like, it wouldn't even be a question. But then a part of me also goes, or maybe this wouldn't have raised red flags in you. Like, I just think that, like, you need to listen to your intuition about everything, but specifically about things like this, which have, like, a direct response to not only, like, your morals and, like, your, like, ethics, but also, like, your safety. Right. And I don't feel safe around a gun. you don't feel safe around. Yeah.
I don't feel safe around like owning one for myself and having it. But I knew that when I was going to my grandparents' house, there were going to be guns there.
Yeah.
We knew what rooms not to go into. Like they were very like, they taught us about the guns. So like we knew what they were. We knew not to touch them. But like they're like that to me is someone that's responsible with guns.
Yeah. And he seems like he is that. And I think that like, hopefully when he has kids, like and grandkids, he'll do all of that same stuff. But I also think at a certain age, if you didn't grow up with it, it's, I don't want to say it's like too late to get comfortable, but you're resisting your body's natural gut instinct to be like, I don't like this. Yeah. And I don't ever think that's a good idea to ignore that feeling. So ethical gun ownership totally exists, but that doesn't have anything to, you don't have to have anything to do with that. That can be like a very separate part of other people's lives. That's how I view it. I'm like, yeah, I know people who like, I don't like hunting, but like I know people who go hunting and they know that I'm not a fan and I don't ever want to hear about it.
But I'm going to eat the bounty.
Yeah. And also like, I'm not going to like be like, I can't be friends with you anymore. I don't respect you. And they respect me in knowing that I don't want to hear about it and that it makes me really uncomfortable and that they would never have anything around for that. Like, you know? Yeah. It's like seeing people who are afraid of blood. Like, it's like one of those things that is just being respectful of everyone's boundaries. But you don't have to change your boundaries because you're not compromising your morals. So, yeah.
All right, let's take a break.
Back. On to the rest.
Hi, I just called in, but my call was kind of messy, so I actually wrote it down and am going to give more context. So I am 21 female. My roommate, Maria, as a fake name, is 21 female. We're both she, her. Our boyfriends both he, him. Bob is 21 male, and Maria's boyfriend, and my boyfriend, Mark, is 21 male. So basically, me and Maria signed a lease as her boyfriend is long distance, but they've been dating for 3 years and are from the same small town. However, he went to a different school for his program, but is planning to move here next year under the context that he would have to go back to school for 4 months to finish some courses, but he would have co-op here. Due to this, she would have to move out, and I brought the idea to her that me and Mark lives at home, would be open to living with her and Bob. I've met him multiple times, and I've been friends with this girl for almost 2 years, so we do get along, and like I said, we're already living together. I just want your opinion on if this would be a bad idea. Obviously, it would be based on when we can financially both afford to split up as couples, as the problem is where we live is very expensive, especially after the COVID situation. So she's expressed to me that she's just worried that they won't be able to financially afford it, and she would be open to living with us. I've also been feeling a fear of abandonment, so I'm not sure if me agreeing to potentially doing this, which I wouldn't have to commit till maybe December or January, I'm not sure if this is a good idea or if I'm letting my fear of abandonment cloud my judgment. So I just want to hear your thoughts. Let me know if you think this is a good idea. What do you think I should do? Should I just split up and find a new roommate to live here? I don't like the idea of moving, but I wouldn't mind because we wouldn't move far because we like the area we live in right now. I love the podcast. I've literally been listening for almost 2 years, and I'm so grateful to have found it.
As a podcast network, our first priority has always been audio and the stories we're able to share with you. But at Realm, we also sell some pretty cool merch, and organizing that was made both possible and easy with Shopify. When you think about successful businesses like Aloe or Allbirds or Skims, an often overlooked secret is the business behind the business that makes selling and, for shoppers, buying simple. For millions of businesses, that business is Shopify. That's because nobody does selling better than Shopify. It's the home of the #1 checkout on the planet. And the not-so-secret secret that's definitely worth talking about is that Shop Pay boosts conversions up to 50%. That's more happy customers and way more sales going. If you're hoping to grow your business, your commerce platform better be ready to sell wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling, on the web, in your store, in their feed, and everywhere in between. Businesses that sell more sell on Shopify. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/realm, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/realm to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/realm.
All right. Thank you.
Only 2. I'm curious where you found it.
Yeah, me too.
Let us know.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Found it in the pandemic, peak pandemic times.
Peak Pandy. We're the Pandy Podcast.
Well, you might have missed other episodes where we've talked about rooming with friends and rooming with friends that are unsure of their financial situations.
Yeah, you upped the ante on this one.
Yeah. No.
It's the worst idea anyone has ever had. Like, this is no.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. Like, so not. I'm a little confused at the beginning. It seemed like this was your idea. And then it seems like fear of abandonment, like making me like say yes to this. And it's like, so was it your roommate's idea? Because if it actually was your roommate's idea and I didn't mishear that at the beginning, it sounded like you proposed it as your idea. To me, that means you probably don't really want to do it. And like your roommate has been trying to talk to you in a way that now you're starting to think it was your own idea. But I could completely be off base on that. But I think that the fear of abandonment, I don't know that is this. To me, this kind of just seems like fear of change.
Mm-hmm.
And that's totally normal and like really like wanting to like make it work. So you've got a good thing going on. You don't want to change that up, especially, I mean, a lot of people don't like change, but also especially with the last couple of years that we've had, it's really nice to have something steady and consistent, especially because you are in school. And so I can imagine having a really nice home environment when you're spending way more time at home than you are on campus usually. I think that it's probably a scary thing that this might not be exactly the same thing. But like Melissa said, like you have so many different things here. You have like living with a friend, which it seems like maybe you were roommates and then you became friends. Totally fine. Encourage it. You don't. And
not
then
the other way around them.
No, don't move in with a friend and then hope that they can become a roommate. It's not how it works.
Mm-mm.
And then
moving in with your boyfriend
who already lives at home, who's saving money and is now going to have a new financial strain. That's brand new for your relationship. Yeah. And then you add on her boyfriend.
Yeah. It's too many different things that can go wrong here.
Especially because it doesn't seem like anyone's ever lived with a partner before. Yeah. And that is like, people have their first big fucking fights. Mm-hmm. Like, it's the time where like you have a fight with your partner and you can't like just not respond, answer your phone. Like you're there. Like also it's just might not be your finest moments. And it might not be something that like you want other people to like witness and experience. And you also might not feel comfortable being super honest in your relationship because you're so hyper aware. Either you're going to be hyper aware of the roommates and it's going to affect your relationship, or you're not going to be aware of the roommates and that's going to affect your relationship with the roommates. Yep. Yeah.
And also, like, when people fight, like, when it's between two couples, as long as they're not a terrible person, like, you sometimes fight about things that are bad in the moment, but you're able to forgive yourself. But then if you have your friends listening in on it.
Good point.
And then they're going to think negative things. They could possibly think negative things about you and or your partner. And then things that y'all were able to forgive and forget and move on, they're not going to be able to do the same thing.
Yeah, they're no longer judging you based on your interactions with them and your friendship. It's based on like them observing and hearing you with a different relationship.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You also might like end up hating your friend. Like, you like it. I don't even mean just for your relationship, but like you could not enjoy. You and your partner could be completely fine, but like her and her boyfriend could completely implode, and like that's horrible. And then you're kind of in the middle, and like No,
Yeah.
it's just no. And you live in a high cost of living area. So then finding a place that's like 2-bedroom is going to be small. Like it's going to be small. So you're really on top of each other. I think if you're going to live with a lot of people, I think you need to have like either you have 2 rooms and it's 2 people who live there, or I think you need to start getting up to 4 and there's 4 rooms that 4 people live. Like it needs to be, because like then you have a bigger living space, you have a bigger kitchen, but like a 2-bedroom place for 4 people is going to feel in a high cost of living area, which I don't know where it is, but in Los Angeles, a 2-bedroom apartment for 2 couples is not big enough.
Yeah.
It's just so not. So if you then to save up even more money to have a place that's just more spacious and bigger, you're going to be spending just a fuck ton of money when you would, at that point, like you would have much more space for 1 bedroom. But it also seemed like your other option wasn't just moving in with your boyfriend. It was you finding a different roommate. So that makes me think that like you're not even ready to move in together if it's just you 2.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. This is just a bad idea all
and
around.
Also on top of that, the money issue too. Which if you move in with somebody and they're not able to pay their rent, then you are responsible for paying the rent because you're all in the lease. I think you should find other roommates. And I don't even think that you should just move in with your boyfriend right away either, because he's never lived on his own either.
Didn't even sound like that was an option.
No. So I think everybody, I also don't understand like the friend.
The 4 months away.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So it seems like the boyfriend, they've been long distance for 3 years. He's going to move there, but then he needs to like finish 4 months of school at a certain point. And it seemed like, so she has to move out too. So I don't understand why she has to move out. Is it just that he's coming here and so like she wants to live with him and so move out from without you, but like it also, they can't, to me this seems like they can't afford to live on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And so she wants you and your boyfriend to come in so they can afford it.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, this is just like it's just a really, really, really bad idea.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Like you could lose your friendship and your relationship, and like that's not worth it. Not worth it.
All right, next call.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. So I am a 26-year-old woman, pronouns she, her. I am also mixed black and white. My dad is black and my mom is white. They are separated and both remarried. So I'm talking about my biological mother. Recently, my boyfriend and I, who he's also 26 and also black, we had some nasty plumbing issues at our apartment, so we had to go stay the night at my mom's. When we arrived, my mother had obviously been drinking, and she is notorious for saying out-of-pocket things when she's drunk. I would also like to note that my family is very blended. We have multiple races: black, white, Hispanic, Japanese, and we also have a lot of a few queer people in my family. But anyways, when we're together, like we talk and we joke about things in a way that might be inappropriate to other people. So basically, my mom, my boyfriend, and I were sitting around the fire that night, and out of nowhere, she kind of just starts telling the story about one of my other sisters who is fully white. In the story, she was basically being bullied and being called a cunt by a boy who happened to be black. And my mom's response to this was for my sister to go and call him the N-word. So not only was that a horrible response, but during the story, she actually said the N-word out loud. And in the moment, I kind of just shouted, like, Mom, like, holy shit, in the future, just say N-word. And, you know, thankfully my boyfriend didn't really react, and we both just kind of played it off and moved on. But it was extremely inappropriate and awkward, and because she was drunk, she kind of just shrugged it off. This isn't the first time she said something wildly inappropriate about race or queerness or whatever, but I feel like she's one of those white women that feels because she has a Black child and Black friends that she can speak in terms that are politically incorrect, and it's just not okay anymore. And, you know, my boyfriend and I have been together for almost 7 years, and we're getting ready to get married, and we want to integrate our families, but I'm fearful to do that because his family is Black, and if something like this were to happen in front of them, I would be beyond embarrassed, and I don't know what to do. But basically, I know I need to address this, and I don't know how because I'm extremely non-confrontational, and I don't want to upset her. I love my mom. She's a great woman. Like, other than this, she's really cool. She's caring. She's kind of that old hippie lady, but she just has these random outbursts when she's drinking and does some horrible shit sometimes. So I just really need her to grow up and read the room because the world is changing, and I just really need her to catch up, even when she's drunk. So please help me, you guys. I really don't know what to do here, and I don't want my boyfriend to have to put up with this.
He's already putting up with it. There's a reason why he didn't flinch.
Yeah. The world isn't changing in the sense of what she said is racist and has always been racist. So I don't understand your comment in that. I also don't understand you saying that she's only says these kind of things when she's drunk and out of pocket. But like she doesn't, she didn't just say that on a whim. She says that word all the time.
Well, also, she was telling a story of when she presumed was sober and told your sister to call someone that word. Like, I've been drunk a lot of times and I've never said that word. Like, it's just not, I mean, I think, and I don't, to me, your boyfriend not flinching is like, and maybe this is like the hard thing to hear. I think you might have missed other times that she said stuff, but he didn't flinch because he wasn't surprised. Right. And I don't think his parents don't know either. Like, this isn't isolated and this isn't as contained as you think it is. And you might be seeing these out quote unquote outbursts when drunk, but like these also have sober origins. And like,
these are her thoughts that she has all the time. And I know you don't want to hear this, but your mom is racist.
Yeah.
She's racist. And you're protecting her. And I mean, I remember, like, and I think I've told this story before on the podcast, but I was over this guy's house and his mom was telling some out-of-pocket story about how at work, her and her Black, and she thought it was okay because this was a Black coworker, and I also don't believe that the story happened the way that she is, but her and her Black coworker were discussing how it's not okay for the races to mix because they have to deal with things while she's not racist. If people have babies and they have mixed children, then they have to grow up in a world that's racist for them. And I'm like, internally, I didn't say anything at that time because I wasn't at the point in my life where I could articulate specific things.
How old were you?
I was 18.
Yeah,
yeah. And so I didn't know how to articulate how I was feeling. So I did not flinch. I'm in the same case that your boyfriend did not flinch. It's something that I still remember all these years later. It's something that angers me when I think about it. Just because he didn't flinch does not mean that he was not angry. It does not mean that he does not harbor ill feelings towards her. It does not mean that it didn't affect him at all.
Yeah.
And you not saying, like, not you just thinking that this is something that she does when she's drunk is part of the problem. These are things and thoughts and feelings that she has all the time. Just because your family looks like the rainbow, that doesn't mean that there's not racism that runs rampant within your family.
Yeah, it's just giving her more opportunity to be offensive to people's faces.
Yes. And she thinks it's okay.
Yeah. You can't control who your parents are. So I think your boyfriend, like, you know, loving you, wanting to be with you and all of that, like, what you can control, though, is how you respond to your parents and, like, how you what role they play in your life, and if you condone or excuse their actions and the things that they say. And I just think that, like, I don't know. I think, and this might not be like the right sentiment, but I understand that you love your mom, but like your mom can love you and still be racist.
Mm-hmm.
Like she can.
It happens a lot.
It's just the excuse that like white women will give in this, if it's like, oh, well, no, I'm by proxy, so what I say can no longer be offensive. And that like gets into people's heads. Like it gets into people's heads. So then it becomes like, well, she's not being offensive because then it would be about me.
Right.
And racism is not like personal. Like it's not like you're not specifically like, oh, I'm only racist to this person, I'm not racist to this. If you're racist to one person, you're racist. Like it's just, it is what it is, and nobody's an exception. And that is like, until there is like some actual serious change in this, like this will cost you your relationship. This will cost you a relationship with your in-laws. But also I think you might have a moment where you, in a few years or a certain amount of time, start to resent your mom more than you love her. Mm-hmm. And that is, I think, a preventable thing for people who are willing to be educated. But I think sometimes we know that we can't do anything because it's not going to change, and it's easier to kind of exist in the limbo and hope things don't get worse and things just kind of like smooth sail and you're just like fingers crossing. But I think you're doing wrong by your boyfriend, and I also really think you're doing wrong by yourself. And it might not feel like that right now, but I think future you will feel that, because if you can't care about, or if you don't notice when, or take it personally when she's talking about it with you, because she's your mom and you've said that like she was a great mom growing up and all of that stuff. If you have kids, your kids are going to feel it.
Yeah, and your kids who will be 1/4 white, 3/4 black, like it's not going to be the same for them. It's not.
And the relationship with grandparents and their grandchildren is really different than parents. Like completely unrace related, but like one of my we're really mean. Like I really didn't get along with some of them, and like I didn't have to feel this like, well, I have to love them because there isn't that there. So like the questioning that becomes of like, am I internalizing a lot of this? It's gonna be, my mom's okay with this. It's not, is this behavior okay or not? It's like, this behavior is not okay, and they're also not going to have grandparents on the other side doing it. Like, it's just.
Yeah. And I mean, and you use the term, the things that she says aren't politically correct. No, they're just not correct because they're racist.
Yeah.
And I'm not, we didn't say any of this like to be like mean towards you. I just don't think that you've examined this under the lens that it should be examined under.
Yeah. And I can imagine it's like really, really, really fucking hard because like she's your mom, and having a betrayal of something that you can't control, something that's so fucking insidious, and something that affects people that you love, affects you, but also affects the children you might have. Like it's like a poisoned well. And like that's it's really hard in general for people to realize that their parents aren't good people, or their parents some people even have a hard time with like realizing their parents are real people and all of that. And like, this also doesn't make you like blind or silly for like not recognizing some stuff. Like our brain wants to protect us. And I just think like right now you have all the information, you have everything, and it's what you do moving forward for everyone, like really for you.
Yeah. And I think you need to have a serious conversation with her when she's sober.
Yeah. And if you're close with your boyfriend's like family, I think like, I don't know, you said like your whole family's very, very blended family from like different backgrounds and stuff. But I don't know if you have a relationship with your dad, but I think like if there's someone that you can talk to who isn't in her exact circle, who might be understanding of what you're going through a little bit more, that might be helpful for you, because if she is your only like role model parental adult figure, I think that that's going to be really hard to feel like you're even cutting back on the relationship or setting boundaries. You're losing out on if that's the only adult figure in your life who you're very close to in a role model way. So like even just like pursuing more of a relationship with your like boyfriend's family, and like if like asking if we can go to dinner and like spending time with like other adults who you look up to, I think is really important. And I also can't imagine that you said, again, big blended family, and she says things that are racist and homophobic. People probably have wanted to say something for a really long time, and like the times are changing and things are learning. Like she knows, and she's had the opportunity. And I think you need to set boundaries for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. Like, I'm really sorry. That's fucking, that fucking sucks. But she doesn't have any excuses.
And honestly, when you started the call off and said that you had a white mom and a black dad, I already knew where the call was going. It's not uncommon.
Is there a specific hashtag on TikTok?
It might be biracial or mixed. I don't know. But white mom might be the hashtag.
Honestly, I want to say it actually might be white mom.
Be. But there are a lot of other people that are in your same situation, and it might be worth finding other people that are in your situation that you can talk to.
I want to say at least one that I saw, I think, had a podcast.
Oh, yeah. Look up white mom mixed kid on TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's time for Don't Blame Them.
Woo! So, Don't Blame Them is where people, you listeners, call in with their own advice pertaining to calls we had on previous episodes. So maybe they have personal experience, maybe they have credentials in the area, just some thoughts that they have, or they noticed something in the call that we didn't, and they have their own advice that they want to share.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I love your shows, and you are both living proof that the universe sometimes gives with both hands. I'm calling in for Don't Blame Them, episode 12. I hope nothing but the worst for him, relating to your caller who has never had sex before. First of all, caller, you are incredibly young, and there is no timeline on when someone should have sex for the first time. I was not raised in a religious community, but my first time was around 21 years old, which compared to my peers was relatively late. Often I felt left behind, but I knew that I was not emotionally or physically ready to be vulnerable with someone. There were times I could have had sex sooner, but as soon as the situation didn't feel right, I stopped where I was comfortable. I was never judged for being quote-unquote inexperienced or only wanting to do so much. Caller, if you are pressured or criticized, get out immediately, because this is not someone who respects you and your boundaries. As for having sex with a stranger or a partner, I'm really glad you never mentioned needing to be in love before having sex with someone, because that is a total bullshit agenda that is pushed on people, especially women. But I also agree with Meghan that you probably shouldn't have a one-night stand with a stranger. It's hard to feel safe and in control with someone you don't know, and you need to be 100% okay with them not caring about you at all. My first time ended up being with someone I was dating and didn't love, but I felt very safe and in control of what was happening, which led to a pretty positive experience. I hope this helps. Bye.
Great.
That is someone who, if I could have a conversation with that person in high school and me in high school, it's who is so much more self-aware and emotionally mature, like, you know, vulnerable. Like, I didn't even think about that shit. Dude, like, and it's not because I was more mature. And I think a lot of the time people are younger. It's like, oh, I don't feel mature enough yet. And I don't feel like secure in myself and vulnerable enough to have sex. And you look at other people having sex and you're like, yeah, I'm not there yet. But I was not there. Like, that is like such a really self-aware, and I hate the term mature, but that's like a really self-aware and well therapized and adjusted, enlightened and adjusted individual who is like making really smart, conscious decisions about really thinking about all the choices they're making and the reason why and just what goes into all of that. And As someone who had sex when they were 16, I did not think of any of that shit at all. Do I think of that now? Yes, 100%. But people who are having sex young, some people have that mind. Like some people feel exactly how you feel and just felt that a little bit younger. But not everybody having sex feels that way.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and that's not I'm not saying it as a positive thing. I'm just saying that like there's a lot of, especially for specifically like women having sex like young, I think that there is a window of where insecurity and opportunity and like luck of like liking someone can all intermix, or can just be one. Like I really like this person, and or maybe I'm a little into like all of that. But I always said like if I didn't have sex in high school, I don't know that I would have had sex in college. Like there's just this like there is this like window there, and where people are at in their lives, and some people are there and some people like aren't.
Yeah, I wasn't there when I was 16. I think about that actually. Just now, I just thought about how, you know, we joke about the difference in our ages, and we had sex for the first time around the same, like at the same time
in the same lives. Era. Oh, yeah. Like when I was having sex for the first time, you were also having, yeah. And like, it's just like, I don't regret it at all. Like it worked really well for me. And like I've said so many times before, like my belief system is I want to feel the same way about you that you.
With something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
Feel about me. I look back on it and it was like awkward and cringy, but like I really it was my first love. We really liked each other and all of that. But I don't think if I had waited and it was with somebody else, I would have wished it had been him and wished it had been that situation.
Yeah, I dated someone all through high school, and I did not have sex with him. And the person that I had sex with for the first time was just some kid in my class that I had no feelings for, and I don't have any regrets.
Yeah, I don't know. I always think I'm like, you're never, very rarely. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, more often than not, you're not going to regret not having sex with someone. Mm-hmm. I regret some people. I'm like, should have had sex with you, but like, yeah, your body is.
all the people that I've dated or been with, I mean, I have had a lot of sex since then, but I'm just saying
she doesn't want you to get twisted.
I'm just saying like there's probably just like one guy that I'm like, I wish I would have slept with.
Yeah, it's just your body is very in tuned, and if your mind can match up to your body, like that's fantastic. But a lot of the time when you're not comfortable and ready to have sex, like you're not going to have enjoyable sex, and like it's good to listen to your mind and not just be like, oh, let me power through. So wonderful. Amazing. We probably would not have been friends in high school because I'd have been like, you are so like just well adjusted.
No, I think we would have been friends in high school because I still like had friends.
You were smart though.
But I had friends that were like you.
Well, I was going to say smart kids and I like there's like the smart that are not just like book smart, but like quick smart. Those people and I always got along because they thought I was a fucking hoot and like hilarious. And like I loved them because they were like very unpretentiously just like naturally educated. So we would have.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't believe in friend groups, but even in high school, like I was friends with everyone. Like
high school, it's impossible not to have a friend group.
I know, but I'm just saying for me, I bounced around the different groups. I didn't just stay in like the cheerleaders. I didn't just stay with my people that I was with. Yeah, I was floating between all the groups because I like to be around a different array of people.
Well, and also like cheerleader, you were also like, I mean, you were a cheerleader, but you're also like a fucking athletic as fuck cheerleader. And then also you moved around a lot. So like, I can't imagine you wanting feeling stuck in a friend group and like, fuck that.
No.
Yeah, no. And then you're limited to like the dating options too.
Right.
And you're like, these are the only boys you hang out. That was like really when I first started realizing that friend groups, like I think I actually probably was a little bit more of a floater. I was. And I would have like friend groups that I could do certain things with. But like really for me, it was when people started hanging out with boys and I go, Oh no.
And see,
I'm a dip and go here.
I can't even remember this boy's name, and I wish I could. But there's this guy that like, he was very cute. That I just like would hang like I don't even know who he was friends with. He was like a year older than me, and we just like go hang out places, like go eat and stuff. And I do not remember this kid's name.
What year was it?
2003-ish.
What race is he?
White.
Okay, 2003. Michael.
Oh,
Jason.
I mean, there's so many Michaels and like one of my best friends was Jason, but it's not this guy.
See, I'm picking the names that I'm like, what are the not granola names that I had at my school? We only had one Michael.
I remember I had like my class alone was 660, and it was mostly white people.
Okay, well, that is it for our episode. We hope you enjoyed, and I know you're really going to enjoy the bonus episode that comes out tomorrow.
Yes.
AKA, see you next Tuesday. It's great. I made artwork for it. We talk about it on tomorrow's little bonus app. So if you are missing us and you're like, oh, I need more, tomorrow.
We're here for you every day of the week except for Wednesday.
Woo! Okay. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you need some advice, call in, leave us a voicemail, send us a voice memo. If you have an update, send us an email and we can schedule to have you on, or you can send us a written update. Call in with your don't blame thems. And if you are still listening, head on over to our Instagram and comment the worst roommate you've ever had. Like, you don't have to like say their name, but like if you had like the worst thing a roommate ever did, or the worst thing you've ever done as a roommate. I'll go first. Worst thing I ever did as a roommate in my dorm, I would get drunk, and you know what? I always feel like in preface, I don't drink anymore, because when I talk about things I do with drunk, I'm like, I was not a good person. This is why I don't drink. Not a good relationship with alcohol. I would just like put soup in the microwave and it would just explode and get like super fucking messy in there. And I literally like wouldn't like just never cleaned it at all. And it was disgusting. And so I told my mom, I was like, we're just like not going to use the microwave anymore. And she was like, I mean, I have been using it because you never really cleaned it well. So it did smell. And then I dumped a microwave and just paid the school. That is, I could have had so many more things. So many more things.
And the worst thing I did was probably just eat my roommate's food, because I didn't really have that many roommates.
Your sister's coming into the comments.
Oh, well,
no, I'm kidding. They don't.
That can be a little
I was about to be like,
dicey.
She's going to be monitoring those comments and deleting immediately. That's funny.
All right, I got a review.
Oh, okay.
This is from Whom STDVD.
Whom? Sexually transmitted disease vaginal discharge?
Yes.
Got it.
A piece of home. 5 stars.
Oh.
I recently moved to New Zealand from America. Even though I love it here, I am homesick a lot of the time. These gals and their 2 podcasts really have a way of making me feel at home. Their episodes are my comfort food and they make me feel better. Thanks, ladies. Thank you.
That was so kind. I know New Zealand is big, but we do know of a listener who is
pretty big time in New Zealand.
I mean, she is the most well-known person I know in New Zealand.
Me too.
And when I think of New Zealand, I immediately think of this person. So maybe you should link up, be friends, depending on where you are, because she's also told us that New Zealand is not small.
I thought she said you could like drive from like one part to the other if you're going like east to west in like hours.
Maybe it was the opposite.
Southwest is long. I don't remember.
Maybe it was the opposite. I thought it was that you couldn't drive.
How big is New?
I think you're sounding more right to me.
No, yeah, New Zealand is about 1.5 times smaller than California.
It's the same surface area as Colorado.
Okay, yeah, that's not that big. I think she was talking about someplace, it's like skinny. So like, since it's so skinny, you can go east to west rather quickly.
Oh, okay.
I think. I don't know. I also could be making that up.
Me too. But I know we're not making up is that she is from New Zealand. She lives in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
So you could be friends. She's great.
Yeah, we recommend. We don't like most people.
No, we like her. 10 out of 10 recommend. So we'll see you. I mean, you'll hear us tomorrow. And we'll be back with another episode next week. But you've got us in your ears all week.
Yeah.
You're welcome, motherfuckers.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts and Diamond Imprint Productions. Edited by Coco Lawrence. Post-production sound by Chris Henry. Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson. Music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.